Hi everyone, it's Maggie, and I'm here to um, show you how to cut down your large appliques. If you don't already know how to do it, I had a couple of people that are new to using appliques and laces and that. Um, they're fairly new crafters, and they asked if I would do a video showing um, how to be able to cut down the large appliques that you can get without losing like pearls and sequins and all that. So this is basically for them and anybody else that's interested in seeing how. So these are all appliques from Crafty Me Shop, and there'll be a link to the group in the description box. It's the only way that you can buy appliques, laces, vintage items, all that through Crafty Me Shop is you have to belong to the Facebook group. And the sales are normally weekly, Fridays, Saturdays, sometimes Sundays also. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to start with a really easy one. Let's see. Okay, that's not easy. And I know this one isn't because I've used it. I don't think anyway. No, there's some threads there. And I'll show you what to look for also. Okay, threads there. Maybe it's this one. I know it's not that one either. Okay, yep, this is it. Okay, let me put these to the side. All right, so this is one large applique that I purchased from Crafty Me Shop. And you can see it's on netting or tulle. Anyways, if you turn your applique over, you'll notice that these have, actually before I do that, these have pearls. Let me make sure I'm in frame. Pearls. There's rhinestones, and there's these little, they look like little rhinestones, colored ones. Okay. So then you flip your applique over, and there's two things you want to look for. One are threads that connect like the different flowers to each other, because that's where all the beading and all that goes. They use like one, they might use like one long thread, and they would be able to, you know, put all of the pearls and the rhinestone on this whole applique with like one long piece of thread. So anyways, that's one thing you look for. The other thing you look for are, see these little metal pieces right there? Okay, that means that your pearls and all of that are put on, and I don't know how they do it or what you call these, but that's how they put them on. So for this applique with no threads, it's going to tell you that you can cut it wherever you want, and you're not going to lose any of these pieces here. So, I mean, for me, I would never use this applique as a whole on one particular project. Now, if you were a seamstress and you were making a gown or, you know, whatever, then yeah, you might take several of these and put them on exactly how they are, you know, you place them. But I'm a crafter. I make journals, I make journal covers, and I I wouldn't have a project big enough to put this on, and I wouldn't want to. My goal is always to alter these, no matter how big or small, unless they're real tiny. Um, I don't want to just glue something down, if that makes sense. I want to cut these up and I want to put them on my project the way I see it going. So let's start by, okay, I'm going to take this flower first, and I'm going to look under, and I'm just going to cut right through that thread because that's supposed to be like a stem. Okay, so there's your first applique out of an applique. And I'm just going to cut down some of this netting, because what I also do is when I'm ready to put this on a project, I would fussy cut and take as much of the netting off without touching the actual, flower or leaves. So see, so that's intact. And let me show you, I made this journal cover, and these blue appliques are from two different appliques. The flowers, I should have said, are from two different appliques. These beige flowers are from one applique, and I cut it, I cut it down just like I'm showing you. So by doing this, if this didn't have any flowers and she had green, then I could put this however I wanted it to go. And then once I started cutting the other pieces, I might put 2 or 3, more pieces on there. So that's how I use appliques. All right, now here's another one. And you just want to eyeball it to see where it makes sense also to cut your appliques. All right, so here's a flower with leaves. This to me goes somewhere up here. So I'm going to cut this right at the top of that leaf, and then just go around it a little bit because you don't want to cut into the flower. Okay, and then I'm just not gonna fussy cut. That takes too much time, especially for me. I just want to get rid of some of this netting because it's easier to see. Okay. And I know I've shown how to do this once or twice, but I know it's been at least a year, I think, since I've done a video on this. So, okay, so now I have two different appliques. Let me bring this back again and see if you can just pretend that none of those flowers are there. This one, to me, looks almost like a corner piece. So I would probably put that there like that. Just like that. And this one, I could actually put on the top up here. So you see, by cutting them down too, you look at your project and you decide where you want to place them. Okay, so let me just see if I can cut quick so we can see out of this one big applique how many different ones I can get. It's nighttime here, it's quiet, so I'm not in any hurry. Okay, so let me cut this off. Okay, so here's another one. Now I don't want that or need that stem or this one. And it's up to you how intricate you want to get as far as like, okay, how small do I want these, you know, applique pieces to be? All right, let me just move these to the trash. All right, so now to me, this could easily go on another corner. Okay, so there's 3 so far. All right, now we're getting down to it, so let me just go around it really quick and see how many more I can get. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to push these to the side. I'll show you how many pieces at the, you know, when I'm done. Okay. Now, oh, okay, they're not attached. Okay, so let's cut out the flower. I won't bother fussy cutting. And here's another one. I also like layering flowers too when they're individual like this. You can layer them almost like a little bouquet or garden type of thing or whatever. Okay, this one I'll leave a little bit of the stem on only because you can hide the stem if you want to. All right, now let's see. Okay, so let's do, this is another, I'm going to say another individual flower. And then this one has the 2 leaves. I really like these type of appliques that you don't have to worry about any of the pearls or anything falling off. Okay. Now I don't really care for that the way it is. So I think I'll just cut that down the middle for now until I decide what to, you know, what to do with it, what project to put it on. Could always do an Irish project with these. Okay, so here's, okay, so this one, I think what I want to do, is this attached? Yep, that's attached. I don't want to undo it. So let's just cut that there. My gosh, I hope I've been in frame because I can't reattach them and show you and start over again. Okay, so this one for now, I would leave it like that. Okay, and then let me see. Okay, so this one we don't really need. This is kind of strange looking. So what you can do is just kind of carefully go under it like that and snip. There you go, there. Okay, so this one, I won't throw it away, but I wouldn't use it with this. And then are these 2 attached? Okay, go under again. Okay, there. All right, so it's all cut up. So I'm not going to count that. I'm going to put that to the side. So out of that one, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 appliques out of that one. And look, it really was easy. It's just looking to see, okay, where does it make sense to cut it? So, all right, there's one. Let's put that up there. So hopefully if that's sitting there, I won't go out of frame. All right, so let's look at this. Sometimes the white is hard. Okay, so here's this full applique here. I love this applique. It's just beautiful. And looking on the back, see the threads? There's one going there. They don't always, it's not always just one thread, but a lot of times it'll be one thread and it goes from flower to flower. There's no, let's call those, I don't know why the word grommet comes to mind, but there's none of those on here. So I'm going to assume that, yeah, I can see the little thread there. So yeah, these were put on by threads. Okay, so this is a different one. So in order to cut this down, it has to be where you're going to cut it has to be glued down, or you're going to lose these little pearls. Let me bring it up closer. There's little pearls. There's seed beads. See, it's hard to see the white on white, I know, but those are seed beads. And okay, there's no sequins, but anyway, so first I'm going to check to see where do I want to cut first. So I'm thinking this piece here. So I hold on to it right where I want to cut. I flip it over, and now you could use hot glue, you could use Fabri-Tac. The difference is hot glue, once you tamp it down, dries and solidifies almost immediately. If you use any kind of, tacky glue, then you have to wait for it to dry, and that's going to take a while. I don't like to wait, so I'm going to use hot glue. All right, so I want to cut it at the top of the flower there. Let me take my glasses off. That's the only way I'm going to really see close enough with these. Okay, so there's right there. I'm going to take a little bit of glue, go across the thread, and then here's another thread going across there. Okay, and then I'm just going to tamp it down. And what I do is I go really hard and then I just pull it up because it won't stick to this, but it kind of sticks until you pull it up. Okay, so then you turn it around again, and I'm going to carefully, because this is cording, so you have to cut through the cording. There's no getting around that. Okay, there we go. All right, so no beads or pearls were lost because of that glue. All right, so we have one of those. I'm not going to cut the whole thing because I don't want to take too much time, and I have a couple of others to show you. I'll cut one more thing, I think, and we'll make that. I could cut the flower. Nope, you know what? I'm just gonna cut that one for this one and go on to the next one. Makes more sense. Okay. All right. So this one, look on the back. I don't see grommets, but I don't really see where a thread would go either. And I've already, this is how big this is, but I've already cut. I'm just trying to remember because I've already used a couple of the flowers from this, because this used to have flowers right here, and I've used them already. So let me just look quick. Because I don't see any threads that are connecting to these other flowers. So let me just see what happens. I'm going to cut here. I'm thinking maybe they're glued in. Yeah, because there's no threads whatsoever. I think they may be glued in. So, I mean, it's still intact. So this is almost kind of like the green, just without the those metal things. Here's a thread here, but I don't think it goes to, trying to see. I think they're just the ends of, I want to say this might have been, most likely is machine stitched. So the machine stitched all the middle of this flower, and then it took the thread and made this flower. So because none of these are attached through a thread. So I'll just show you quick. I'll cut one off, and even though I'm cutting through the thread and I'm not using any glue, yeah, see, you don't lose anything. Okay, so that's that one. So this was an easy one, easier than the white one. And see, this is still intact too. Nothing's going anywhere. All right, so there's that one. Okay, let me see this one. Okay, now, oh, see, this has threads going to every single one all over. This, let me put that over there. This is a huge applique. I mean, I can't even, here's the two ends. I can't even get them all in frame, the whole thing. It's a gorgeous applique, and I haven't used it yet. So this is how it came. It's my favorite color. So all these pearls and these pieces, seed beads, they're all put on by hand with threads. So this one we have, or I have to be careful where I'm going to cut. I'm just trying to see, trying to find one part that I absolutely want to cut. Okay, now to me this applique would be like, I would use it on like a fantasy type journal, like with either fairies or like something to do with maybe mermaids or even like angels or something. So let me find my glasses so I can see. Okay, how much time have we? Oh, it's not 30 minutes yet. Okay. All right. So to me, I would want to cut, or I'm going to cut in between, because I think this piece here would end down here, because this would all go with that flower, I think. So what I usually do is, when there's no threads that I can see right here, so to remind myself where I'm going, I'm going to cut right there. Okay. And then I'm going to turn it over. And I mean, you can glue even more, you know, you can go farther than where you want to cut just in case. So I'm looking for the threads, and I know you probably can't see, but here I'm going to show you with the glue tip. Okay, here's one thread here. So I'm going to go across with that. And what did I do with the, oh. Okay, where did I just do that? Now I can't see where oh, there it is. Okay. It was hard to see the glue because you can't really see it. Okay. All right. Now here's some more, because this is where I'm going to be cutting, like kind of fussy cutting around here. So I'm going to probably like not use a lot of glue. When I say over glue, what I mean is I'm going to glue threads that aren't really going to have anything to do with the part that I'm going to cut. I just would rather be on the safe side than to lose some of those seed beads and pearls or whatever. Okay. All right. So I think I glued it enough to get where I want to go with the fussy cutting. All right. Let me double check. All right. No, I'm going to do right here. I'm going to do right there. Right there. Okay, and I think that will be good enough. If it isn't, though, and I do lose any, I'll show you exactly, because I can show you a mistake, too. I just don't want to deliberately ruin a piece of applique. All right, so I'm going to cut, because I want to keep the stem, but these pearls don't belong to this piece that I can tell. So I want to cut around those pearls, and that's where I glued, just to be on the safe side. And it's not gonna be a crime if I didn't do it 100% correctly. All right, where should that end? I think going this way. And I did glue up there. Okay. All right, let me cut away some of this netting, because I'm only going to be cutting it away when I do use it. And I don't want all this, so that would be like if I was going to put it on a dress, I guess. Okay. Okay, so there's the applique. And I think I didn't lose anything down here, so I did glue it correctly. Yep. Okay, so there's that applique. And then I won't bother doing more on this, but I will show you like where I would find the different appliques. Okay, obviously this flower here, but like where, okay, so where do you cut it? Oh, maybe it'd be easier to start at this end. Okay. And sometimes appliques will be attached. This isn't, but that might have been sewn together right there. So when that happens, I carefully try to pull it apart a little bit. If it comes apart and I can cut it, I will. If it doesn't, I leave it. And I just make it into a little bit larger applique. So here, what I would do is this leaf can be cut out by itself. This flower here can be cut out by itself. I would I would cut in between these three flowers. This flower I would cut on its own. It can go, see all the threads there? You have to glue those down or you're going to lose these pearls and the rhinestone. But I would, after gluing it down, I would cut around there. So this flower would be by itself. And then I would cut, let me see, can you, yep. All right, it's going to be hard. But see how the netting there? Once I glued down those, the threads, I would cut this flower around there, and that leaves this flower here. Okay, so I already said I would cut this flower separately. So this one I would cut, I think I would cut it right at the pearls there and leave keep the leaf, go around again, leave the pearls, and keep the leaf. So that's, let me try to hide those. So that's how this flower would go. And then these pieces here with all these clusters of pearls, this is where, to me, what I call fantasy comes in. I would cut these separately, and it would be a lot of work, but it would be worth it because then you can trail them or have them go up like this. It could go up like this, or you could have it trailing down like this. And you could add like a butterfly to some of this. If you just cut, these strands of pearls, you could have a butterfly there. It doesn't have to be a flower. So, and look at this, there's plenty of strands. Here's another flower that I would leave this with the flower. I would cut this piece off, though that's not needed. And I would just cut all these here. And you can, if you cut them but you want to use more than one, you can always, glue them next to each other or whatever. So, okay, so that's that one. And then the last one, this red one here. Love this color red. I don't know how it's going to come across on screen, but it's a beautiful dark red. This one, I thought it had those grommets, and I think it does for the pearls, although I can see a thread through this pearl, so never mind. And there's the threads right there. They're the exact same color as the applique, so they're kind of hard to see. But for this one, and this is the same applique like this one. See how the flowers are the same, and it's even got these like I guess they could be leaves like trailing. So I would cut this one, and it could be, now if you look really close, you can tell when there's no thread. So you just have to know when you don't need to glue. Okay, so there's no thread. So I'm going to cut right at the flower. And if I'm wrong, I'll admit it and I'll show you. And I'm going to cut right at that leaf. Okay, so here's one flower. and it kind of gets scrunched in my drawer, so, but it can flatten out. So there's one flower, and this is the same as this one. See? So if this was a different, you know, scene or whatever, that would have fit right like the same one. Okay? So let me show you where the gluing comes in. I'm trying to see here. And see, when I cut the flowers out of that the beige applique, I only cut the flowers. I cut off most of these leaves. And this one, I didn't really care for the pearls on the leaves, so I didn't use those. I mean, I kept them, but I didn't use them. So let's see. And you have to really see the outline of the flower to know where to cut. So okay, so this one, see, there's a thread there going to the leaf, and then there's a thread here going to the next flower. And this thread here is threading the pearls on this leaf. And it's also these seed beads right there. You don't want to lose those. And then this thread, which also is in the middle of the flower, is going to the next flower where all the seed beads are. All right, so we're going to glue the thread from one flower to the other, and I'm going to quickly do it from here to the leaf. And it doesn't matter what it looks like on the back with the glue, because you're going to glue it down to your project and no one's ever going to see it. As long as you don't go past it. Okay, now where this is a cluster, I'm just going to automatically go down to these leaves. Even if I don't cut them right now, at some point I probably will, so it'll already have the glue on there and I won't have to do that. It'll already be there. Okay. All right. So let's just cut this one flower and then we'll be done. So like I said, you have to really see where the outline of the underside of the flowers are. And you might not be able to see it because this red isn't really very good, but I can see it, so I'm going to cut exactly where to keep the outline of the bottom of the flower. You don't want to lose your petals either, so okay, that goes right there, and cut that. Okay, so everything stayed intact. Okay, so see, I don't really care for this, so I'll go one more step and we'll pull the petals apart, and you can see, well, hopefully you can see where the underside of the flower is right there. So I'm just going to cut along that flower. You don't have to be precise because you're not going to see it. When I put the petals back, it's going to hide it, but I still like to just cut it where it's supposed to. So there's another one. And then you still have the leaf. if you want to place it somewhere else. You could also, if you wanted, you could also take the pearls off and just leave the leaf. Actually, I didn't try doing that. Let me take some of them off and see what it looks like. This isn't going to be, well, it won't be too hard on these because I didn't hot glue underneath it. So let's see what it looks like. Whoop, let me grab these before I lose them. There's another one. I just want to get enough off so I can actually tell what it looks like without them. It's funny, I didn't use it. I used these different colored, this exact applique, the different colors like with the beige, and I never thought of taking the pearls off to see what it might look like, and then just, you know, cut any loose threads. So, all right, those are where I glued. So, I mean, I can cut them off, but it's going to take a little bit, so I'm not going to, well, this one's easy. Well, maybe that's easy. This is the only one where glue hit it. So let me just, okay. All right, so they're all off. So let's see. Well, let me take just take that glue off. And then that extra piece right there. Okay. So actually, you can't even tell. Or do I have it on the wrong? Yeah, you can't even tell. So if you wanted to use it, I would use it this way rather than have the pearls on there. So that's just another way of, you know, altering. So anyways, that's it. That's how you cut up appliques that have beads and pearls and sequins. I didn't have any that had sequins. And I'll be honest with you, I don't really care for sequins. I mean, I have appliques that have them and I wouldn't take the sequins off, but I'd rather the beads and the pearls myself. But that's just my preference. So okay, so here's all the different pieces. Here's another piece here. This is the applique. Okay, that's the applique. So yeah, let me get that applique out. All right, so here's all the different pieces. And this, I should say, okay, so we got 2 flowers and the leaf. And I'll show you where else I would cut. Okay, I would cut this. I would keep these 2 long stems with the flower. Okay. And then here's 3 tiny little flowers that I might want to put in between, you know, the larger flowers. So I would keep those. There's another leaf I would take the pearls off of. I would keep these flowers. I might keep these flowers together. Like, see how these were probably all, I just kind of, I don't think I cut them individually. So that's what those 3 would look like if they were on there. So I would leave those 3. So there's another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not counting the leaves. Okay, this one, 6. And there's 3 more flowers. So 7, you could easily get 7 appliques just from this one. So, yeah, so that's it. I hope whoever wanted, wanted to learn how to cut them, to fit your projects. I hope this made sense. I hope you were able to see enough of what I was doing to know how to do it. If anybody has any questions, though, they can put it right in the comments, and I will answer each and every question. And I don't think there's any other type of applique that you would do something different. It's either you can cut them like these because there's no string or there's no thread, or you have to glue down because of the thread. Now, if it was a flat applique that had no beads or anything, you can cut that easily. You can cut that wherever you want. There's nothing for it to come off of. I should have brought one flat one, but I didn't, and I'd have to go grab one on the other side of my work area here. So anyway, yeah, that's really all there is to it. It's very easy, and like I said, if you don't mind waiting, you can use. If you don't like using hot glue, you can use the any of the beacons, the tacky glue. You can use this glue here, tacky glue. The only thing you can't really use would be a glue stick. That wouldn't work, I don't think. You could use our glitter glue. But like I said, you've got to wait for it to dry, and it can take, our glitter glue doesn't take too long to dry, but it would take longer than hot glue. And this, I never used it on an applique, so I have no idea how long it would take to dry, but I would think it would take at least like a half an hour. Who has a half an hour to wait for it to dry, right? Don't be afraid of hot glue. You just got to be really careful if you've never used it before. And I do know a couple people who had never used hot glue before. You just got to be careful. I burnt myself. It's not the end of the world. Doesn't feel good. You might have to stick your finger or your hand in some ice water for a couple of hours, which I've done too. But like I said, if you're careful, then you don't have to worry. You just have to concentrate when you're using hot glue, and you have to be really careful because it does burn. So, okay, that's it. I'm going to stop here so I don't continue to ramble, because now I'm almost at 50 minutes. So, yeah, just if you like, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, put your question in the comment, and I will answer them. And I'll see you soon with another video. So I'll just say bye for now.